Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Building You podcast. Yay! Another Monday. We're here. We're doing things a little bit differently today. We're going handheld. Because why not? It's mostly because I forgot my tripod. I'm recording this podcast in a very rushed manner, but it's okay. We're still going to take our time and get through everything that I want to talk about today. This week I got a little sick. I lost my voice, and so I couldn't record earlier than today because I sounded like I had inhaled an entire pack of cigarettes for breakfast, and I just knew that that's not the quality of what I want to put out. There's pushing through, and then there's also just pushing through and putting out bad quality content, and that's not what we're here for. So we're getting through it. We're doing this today. It's Thursday today. No, it's Friday today. This whole week has been so jumbled up. My schedule changed a little bit because I went away for a night on Wednesday, and it was really lovely. Just got out of the city for the night, rented a little Airbnb, a little cabin out in the Fraser Valley. It was beautiful. It was really, really needed for my soul, especially like getting over this sickness. It was kind of nice to just chill and be in a quiet space. You can still hear it a little bit in my voice. I'm still a little bit raspy, but that's okay. Anyways, welcome back to the Building You podcast. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Aza. On this podcast, we talk about all the things that will help you build you. And today we're talking about something that is really important to me and something that I've been working on a lot lately. And that is self-trust. And we're going to talk about 3 new tips that you can implement in your life if you feel like you are lacking self-trust, to kind of build yourself up a little bit, give yourself a hand, and get to know yourself a little bit better. Because when we're lacking self-trust, that can leak into a lot of different aspects in our life. It can leak into our relationships. It can make its way into our career, and a bunch of different areas in our life. Because if you don't trust yourself, if you're not really in the driver's seat of your life, if you're second guessing everything that you do you really have control? Do you really have agency? Do you really know who you are? And that's a really confusing space to be in. And I think that during our life, we go through lots of phases where we need to get to know ourselves better, because we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always evolving. So we'll need to go through these steps often, but it's good to know where to start, and it's good to know and take note when you are losing that self-trust, and when you are in a space where you don't know yourself that well and you're finding yourself second guessing yourself and going through these motions. It's good to know and note when you're feeling this way, so you can switch it around and be like, who am I right now? What do I need? And get back in the driver's seat of your own life. So today we're discussing 3 things that you can start doing today to help you find yourself a little bit more and build back that self-trust, because you deserve to be in control of your day-to-day. You deserve to be in control of yourself, and you deserve to know yourself, because I think you're pretty cool. So without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. I'm already kind of regretting this handheld thing because my arm hurts, but it's okay. I'm not going to work out today because I'm still fighting the sickness off. I might walk a little bit. So, it's okay. I'm getting a little bit of shoulder work in. But yeah, self-trust. Self-trust it's big. It's a really big thing. For the longest time, I kind of associated really knowing yourself and choosing the things that you want to choose and taking control as being selfish. I always felt like it was really, really selfish to not let other people decide, to not just let other people dictate what should be happening. I don't agree with my past self anymore. I'm changing the narrative for myself, because at the end of the day, this is my life. This is my life, and I deserve to choose things that make me happy. And I'm not saying go out and do a bunch of selfish things and go out and do stuff that deliberately hurts people, but this is your life. This is your life. You can decide what you want for dinner. It comes down to things that are that simple. Self-trust can be big and self-trust can be small. It also shows up in areas where you say you're going to do something for yourself and you don't do it. I see this all the time. I'm a personal trainer. I'm in the gym. I see this all the time with my clients. I tell them, this week I want you to do something for yourself, and they agree. Oh yeah, I really want to. I've been meaning to start this new book. I've been meaning to take some time in the sauna that I have in my house. I've been meaning to do this. And then I check in with them the next week and they haven't done it and they don't have a good answer as to why. And it comes down to the fact that we are more willing to do stuff for other people than we are for ourselves. And every time we let ourselves down like that, it's a breach of our own self-trust. I mean, think about it. If you were to create an appointment with somebody or say, I'm going to meet my friend for coffee or something, make plans and put a time on it, and it involves another person, chances are that you're going to go because you don't want to cancel. You don't want to let that person down. But if you create plans just for yourself, and again, I see this a lot because I work in a gym. A lot of people, they come to me because they need someone to hold them accountable. If you say you're going to start going to the gym, or if you say you're going to start running tomorrow, or tomorrow you're going to eat differently or whatnot, a lot of times you don't follow what you set for yourself. And that, again, is another breach of self-trust, and it's not fair to you. So we are going to go over 3 things that I want you to start doing this week, and it's so simple that will just help you get to know yourself better. It will help you rebuild that self-trust and create a better connection with yourself. So number 1, I want you to show yourself a little bit more compassion. Okay? We are so hard on ourselves, and our day-to-day life is so busy and difficult to navigate already. You are the one person that you have forever. Anybody else in your life can come and go as they please, no matter their relation to you. You are the one person in your life that you will have forever. So why are you letting yourself down like this? There's no good answer, right? Why? You need to be in your corner, because if all else fails, you need to know that you are in your corner. You need to know that. And in the beginning, while you're building yourself up, you might not know it in your core. You might tell yourself, I'm in my corner, and it might not feel like it. But if you keep pushing through and you keep showing up for yourself, eventually you will know in your heart that you are there for yourself. And the way that you can start this is by showing yourself some compassion. A lot of times I will wake up and I'll look in the mirror and I will immediately point out all the flaws that I see to myself while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm doing my skincare and getting myself ready for the day. I will point out, oh, like, I wish my eyebrows were different. Oh, my eyes look really, really puffy. Blah, blah, blah. It's so easy to spot the flaws and it's so hard to point out the good. But one thing that has really, really helped me is that I actually, and this is going to sound crazy, I promise I'm not delusional, but if I am delulu, that's okay, because we're getting by. But one thing that has really, really helped me in times where I'm just full on negative to myself. You know the term negative Nancy? That's pretty much exactly what I want you to do. I want you to give that mean voice that you have in your head, that mean commentary, a name. And it can't be you. It can't be your name, because that is not you. That is not you who's speaking to yourself like that. That is outward influences. That is advertisements trying to make you feel bad about yourself to buy more products. That is your high school bully talking to you. That is, maybe, I hope not, but maybe your parents who instilled those insecurities on you. That is your ex who pointed out all your flaws. That is not your voice that's pointing out all your flaws. That is not you. So you need to find a different name. I don't even know what my name is. I just call it the mean voice, the mean person. But if it helps you to have a name, find a name, and it can't be your own name. It needs to be a different name. So for my name, for this example, I'm going to call my mean voice Rachel. And Rachel's not a mean name. If your name is Rachel, I'm sorry, but I want to give the Karens out there a break. I'm going to call my mean self Rachel, okay? So when I wake up in the morning and I go and I brush my teeth and I'm brushing my hair and I'm getting myself ready to start my day, and I start thinking about all the things that I see that are wrong in the mirror, I'm going to say, no, Rachel, no, Rachel, you don't get to talk to me that way. Right? And then I'm going to combat it with some things that I can see that I like about myself. And they don't need to be physical. It doesn't need to be something that you can see. If you are feeling really insecure about your appearance, you don't need to sit there and rack your brain about something that you like about yourself visually, because I know that that's really hard. And honestly, if I had to do that all the time, on some days I'd be standing in the mirror for like 20 minutes trying to find something. And that's just the way it is. We all have dysmorphia. We all have a warped perception of ourselves. But what you can do is you can say, no, Rachel, that is not how I talk to myself. I am a kind person. I am doing my best. I am here. I'm starting my day, and you are not going to weigh on me like this. And I find that, like, giving that mean voice a name and really just separating that mean voice from myself really helps, because it reminds me that it's like, hey, I that is not fair to me. You don't get to talk to me that way. Because if somebody else came up and like walked into your apartment in the morning while you were getting ready and they started pointing out all your flaws, you'd be like, excuse me, who are you? Get out of my house, right? You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, dude, you're right. Also, who are you? You would be like, excuse me, get out of my house. I'm calling the police. Why are you talking to me this way? Why do you feel the need to point out all my flaws? So why do you let yourself, why do you let that mean voice? Why do you let Rachel come in and take over your brain first thing in the morning and point out all your flaws? Rachel, absolutely not. I'm not letting you talk to me that way. And that in and of itself is you standing up for yourself. That is you showing up and proving to yourself that you are in your own corner. And this doesn't have to be when you're getting ready in the morning. This can be at the end of the day when you've made a couple mistakes. Maybe you made some bad judgment calls at work today. Maybe a deal fell through. Maybe whatever. Something didn't go right today and you're laying in bed at night and you're thinking about everything that you messed up today. Say, no, Rachel. No, Rachel. Okay, I messed up today, but that doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean that I don't deserve my position at work. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad partner. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad child, son, or daughter. That just means that I messed up today and I get to try again tomorrow. Shut up, Rachel. Because again, you wouldn't let somebody barge into your house at night and start going over all the mistakes that you made today. You'd be like, who are you? Get out of my house. So why are you letting yourself do that? It doesn't make sense. I could keep going on and on and on and on. When you're at the gym and you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, my waist isn't thin enough. My glutes aren't big enough. I wish I had more muscles. I wish I had less fat. You wouldn't let anyone else talk to you that way. So why are you letting yourself talk to you that way? Why are you letting Rachel talk to you that way? Whatever name that you've given your mean voice. That's just not cool. That's just not cool. So you need to stand up for yourself in those moments. You need to clue in and figure out when that is happening, when there is that separation, when you're being too hard on yourself and you need to stand up for yourself. And that doesn't mean that you need to deny all the problems. One of the most annoying things in the world is dealing with somebody who has obviously made a mistake, whether maybe you cut somebody off on the highway, maybe you made a decision at work that badly implemented somebody else. There's nothing more annoying than dealing with someone who's like, nuh-uh, I didn't do it. You did. And you can accept that you've made mistakes and you can accept that maybe you were mean to somebody today. You can accept that maybe you didn't put your best foot forward, but that doesn't define your character. You can note it. You can say, I did that. I regret it. And I'm moving on. And I'm moving on. And Rachel doesn't get to terrorize me over this any longer. I'm noting that I screwed up. I'm noting that I didn't do my best today. And I'm moving on. I'm moving on, right? You are not going to sit here and trash talk yourself. That is not cool. You need to stick up for yourself. Okay? To summarize, you need to name that mean voice in your head and you need to call them out whenever they come out, whether they're picking apart your character, your appearance, your performance, or whatever it is. Shut up, Rachel. Get out of my house. Stop talking to me that way. Stick up for yourself because you deserve it and you need to be in your corner. Step 2, show up for yourself. And when I say this, I mean mostly in a physical aspect. I mean, when you say that you're going to do something, you do it. Set realistic goals, right? I've talked about setting realistic goals a lot in the past because when you set extreme goals with no proper pathways to get there, you're setting yourself up for failure. But I want you to set some realistic goals and I want you to stick to them. So, for example, you say, I want to start going to the gym every Monday. If you don't show up on the first Monday, are you really showing up for yourself? You said you would. You said you would. And you didn't. And you didn't. I started running recently, somewhat recently, a couple months ago, and I've been consistently running every single week. For the first couple months of the year, I was running once a week on Wednesdays. And now I run on Sundays as well because I'm preparing myself along with a run club that we run out of our gym to go run the Vancouver Sun Run in April, which is a 10K. That'll be the longest I've ever ran in my life. Actually, this Sunday is going to be the longest I've ever ran in my life because it's going to be 6K. I don't think I've ever done more than 5K ever. And I think the first 5K I ever ran was last Sunday. That's how newbie I am at running. And so what I've been doing is I've been running the target length on Sundays and then I've been running like a kilometer or two shorter on Wednesdays just because I don't want to like burn myself out physically and mentally. And I just want to mostly just set the precedent that I'm running on Wednesdays and then pushing myself harder on my runs on Sunday. Last Wednesday, I did not want to run. I did not want to run. I started kind of coming down with this sickness. I was already kind of feeling fatigued. I was really tired. And all day I was just like, I don't need to run. I don't need to run. I've been running so much lately. I'm so active. It's good. I don't need to run. And then 5:30 rolls around, and if you know me personally, you know that if I don't get things done before noon, they might not happen that day. Like, I'm very much productive in the morning. If I leave it to the evening, it's probably not going to happen. But 5:30 comes around, and I like almost had this moment where I could hear myself talking in my head. I was like, Isa, what are you doing? What are you doing? You said that you were gonna run on Wednesdays. So what is this? Why are you not running? And I wasn't mean to myself. It was mostly just like, hey, why are you not coming? Just the same way that if you were to book an appointment and you didn't show up, that person would call you and be like, where are you? Why are you not here? We set this time. We said that we were going to do this today. Why are you standing me up? And that's exactly what it would have been. I would have been standing myself up. And if we're talking about being in our own corner and being better to ourselves and trusting ourselves more, why would I stand myself up? I'm sure you've had a friend or an acquaintance in the past that you keep trying to hang out with and then they're flaky. Last minute, they come up with an excuse. Oh, sorry, I forgot that I had to. Oh, sorry, I'm not feeling. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And you eventually just stop asking them to hang out, right? Because they're flaky. You don't bother making plans with them because you know that they're gonna fall through. It doesn't make sense. You just don't make plans with them anymore, and your friendship eventually fizzles out. And so you see them at the next like gathering where all of your peers are. Why are you being that flaky friend to yourself? You were supposed to be the best friend to yourself. If you say that you're gonna take 10 minutes tomorrow to read, and tomorrow you don't take that 10 minutes to read, you're setting yourself up. If you say that today I'm going to start drinking at least a liter of water a day, if you say that today you're going to start drinking at least a liter of water a day and you only have 1 cup and you're like, it's okay, I'll start tomorrow, or it's okay, I just don't have a big enough water bottle, or it's okay, I just blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be excuses. No matter what you want to do, no matter what your goal is, there is an excuse out there. There could be 100 excuses out there. Are you going to be the person that stands up for yourself and shows up for yourself, or are you going to be the person that makes the excuse? Because honestly, I've been there before. I still am there. It feels awful to be laying in bed at night or sitting at your couch at the end of the day being like, man, I don't like what I'm doing right now. I don't like my routine. I feel like I could be doing so much more. And then you sit on your Pinterest or you go on YouTube or whatever, you're inspired, you're looking at all these things, looking up different like diets, looking up different meal plans, looking up different ways that you can exercise. You're so inspired. You ordered a new active wear set online. You're like, this is it. I'm in my gym girl era. There's so like you could go on forever of things that you want to implement in your life. And then the time comes, you've bought the gym membership, you got your big jug of water, you bought that new book that you were gonna read, and you don't do it. Why? And that cycle goes on and on and on forever and ever and ever until you eventually say, I'm going to show up for myself. You need to show up for yourself. No one's going to come and save you. No one's going to do this for you. And you don't want them to either, because you need to establish this relationship for yourself. And like I said, you don't want to be that flaky friend for yourself. If you continue to let yourself down, to cancel plans for yourself, you're setting an awful precedent and you're just destroying that trust in yourself. You're eventually going to be that flaky friend that you don't want to hang out with anymore if you aren't already. Show up for yourself. And I want to say that this is a lot different than knowing that you need rest. Today is a day I'm supposed to be boxing today. Dude, I'm so fatigued. My lungs are tired. I'm tired. I'm not going to push my body today. This is a day that I need rest. But I identify that, right? I'm not just saying I'm not going to work out today because I don't feel like it or because I don't have time, right? And I know that we don't all have the same 24 hours in the day. I know there's a lot of fitness influencers on the internet who will say we all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's not true. I'm a 22-year-old woman. I don't have children. I'm not going to school. I work in a gym. So there's a lot of time for me to be in the gym and work out. It's a lot different for somebody who has dependents, who has a different job. When I worked in film, there was not a lot of time for me to go to the gym. But oftentimes, you have time. You're just not making it for yourself. And you know that, right? So there's a difference between you needing rest or you actually not being able to fit your goal into your day and you making excuses for yourself. And no one else can tell you when that is, but when you are cheating yourself. Show up for yourself. So just to rephrase, step 1 was to be kind to yourself and name that mean voice in your head and call it out every time that it comes out. Step 2 is to show up for yourself. Show up to these appointments. If you need to, put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. Book it into your calendar like you would if you were booking a massage therapy appointment. If you were to book a massage or a chiropractic appointment or a physiotherapy appointment or even to get your hair done, you'd go. Because if you don't go, they're still going to charge you. Book it into your calendar like you would an appointment and pretend that they're going to still charge you your deposit if you don't show up. I'm sure you'll show up. And eventually, you'll get into the habit of showing up for yourself. All right? Step 3, be decisive. This is one I'm at war with myself all the time because part of me is like, oh yeah, like you choose whatever you want, whatever you're feeling like. Don't even know if that's how I actually feel or if that's just how I've been conditioned to feel. You know, when they say, what do you want to do for dinner? Oh, whatever you're feeling like. What movie do you want to watch? Oh, whatever you think. I'm happy with whatever. This is me every single day. And this is something that I'm trying to really clue into because most of the time I actually don't care. I'm like, yeah, whatever you want to eat for dinner, we'll just go there. I'm happy with anything. You know, I'm pretty easy to please. Whatever movie you want to watch, right? It's just something that like we haven't seen before. Whatever you think looks interesting, we'll see. But is that because I actually don't care? Is that because I don't trust that I'll choose the right thing? Is that because I'm actually happy with anything? Or is that because I feel like if I choose something that I'm happy with, it'll make the other person unhappy? These are the questions that I'm asking myself, and these are the questions that I want you to ask yourself. So I just want both of us, you and me, and whoever else is listening, not necessarily to take action in these moments if you think that this is something you do often, but just to note it, just to clock it. That, hey, here's a moment where I am not being decisive. Why? Am I not being decisive because I genuinely don't care what the outcome is? Or am I not being decisive because I don't trust myself to have an answer? And I think, honestly, a lot of the time for me, it is the latter. I don't trust that I'm going to pick the right thing. When I am in the car and somebody is with me and I know a route to wherever we're supposed to go, I'm like, what way would you go? What street should I turn right or left here? And I know that I could go either, but I don't want to turn left if they think I should turn right. Well, that's not to say that you can't let other people decide too. I just want us to talk and to note when we are not being decisive, when we're not choosing, especially when it comes down to things that are less fun and floofy than cuisine or movie nights. I'm talking about things that have to do with our job, things that have to do with our life, our career. Then we need to be decisive. There is no excuse for us to let other people take the handle of our own life. If it comes down to your child's well-being, your well-being, you need to decide, right? So in order to build ourselves up and practice for those moments of big decisions, we need to know why we're not making these small decisions. Because at the end of the day, a decision is a decision. And if we're nervous and we're second guessing ourselves when we're picking a freaking movie, then how do you think that we're going to react when, God forbid, there's a big decision? Do we pull the plug? Do we put the dog down? These are morbid decisions, but they are decisions. And if you don't trust yourself, they're going to be so much harder for you to make. And I'm talking to myself too. This isn't a lecture. This is to me as well, right? This is all stuff that we are working on. If you're new to this podcast, if you're listening to this because someone shared it to you or because I've been harassing you on social media and you're finally giving it a go, I am not here telling you what to do because I have it all figured out. I am working all of this out with you. This is all me learning as well. And this is something that is really, really, really important to me. Knowing myself and becoming my own cheerleader and becoming the person that's in my corner. Because for my entire life, I've been in everyone else's corner and I have not once been in my own. If there is a room full of negative people, of people heckling me, I am my own loudest heckler. And I'm sure you can relate. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Because there's Rachel, my mean voice, and then there's me. And me, deep down, I know that I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I know that I have a lot of things that I could work on, being decisive being one of them. But I know I'm a good person. And I know that I have impact. And I know that I help a lot of people. And I need to do that for myself too. These 3 steps, they might seem too simple. They might seem really minimal. But I know that they'll impact my life. And I know that they'll impact yours. And I know that at the end of it, if we stay the course, we'll get to know ourselves better. We'll be a better friend to ourselves. And we'll be a better friend to the people around us too. Because I'm indecisive. But you know what's more annoying? Is being the person that's dealing with an indecisive person. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. You choose. Well, I want you to have something that you want. No, it's okay. Whatever you're feeling. back and forth and back and forth. It feels like Wii tennis. Choose something. Choose something and stand behind your decision. So, to recap, step 1, be nice to yourself. Identify that mean voice, shove it to the side. Step 2, show up for yourself. Show up to the appointments that you make by yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Don't let yourself down. Step 3, be decisive. The decisive one is really, really stressing me out, I'm not gonna lie. Because I have to hold myself accountable. Now I have to show up and be decisive for myself. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we're gonna do this together. We're gonna do this together. And at the end of the day, these decisions, they're not that deep. They're deep in the sense that we are standing up for ourselves and we're forcing ourselves to stand behind a decision. But like if you choose Italian food over Japanese food and you end up regretting it, it's okay. It's just a meal. At least you ate. Find the bright side. If you choose a movie that ends up being garbage, womp womp, you watched a garbage movie. Who cares? Move on, right? Hopefully we are all in a position right now where we can just experiment with these little decisions and we can note when we are feeling indecisive and we can note if it's because of outward influences or if we genuinely just don't care what the outcome is. But I think that's a lot of what these 3 steps are. Identifying when you're acting this way and then combating it. It's almost like you have to manually flip a switch and be like, nope, this is not what's best for me. And I know that. And I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to move on. And I'm going to make this decision because this person is asking me what I want for dinner, what I want to watch, where I want to go on vacation, what I want to wear, what I want. And you're going to build a relationship with yourself. You're going to build yourself up to the point where you know what you want. And you know that you're going to show up for yourself. And you know you're going to hold yourself accountable. And doesn't that just sound like a dream? Doesn't that sound so nice? I deserve that. You deserve that. Your mom deserves that. Your brother deserves that. Share this episode to someone that you think needs to hear this and you think would benefit from implementing these 3 steps. And you can implement them in any order. You can start with being decisive, and then you can move to being kind to yourself, and then you can move to showing up. You can move in any order, or you can go all at once. Share this episode to someone you think would benefit from implementing this. And I want you to implement this because you deserve to trust yourself. I feel very emotionally heated right now. I'm not gonna lie. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, drop a comment. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, ring the notification bell, get notified every time I post. Every single Monday, there's a new Building You podcast. We're going to be bringing some guests on pretty soon. We're growing. We're starting small, but we're growing. And I'm growing with you. I'm growing with you. Hey, maybe even by like the 10th episode, maybe I'll have some actual podcasting equipment. We'll see. I don't know. We're taking it day by day. But I really, really love sitting down and chatting with you guys. Feel like this is a great space for a lot of us. I've had a lot of people reach out and talk about how these topics have impacted them, and that's really all I can ask for. So if this is something that resonates with you, drop it in the comments. If you want to join the Building You newsletter, which releases every single Thursday, there's a link in the description below. No spam, I promise, just me dropping into your inbox once a week with the things that we talked about in these episodes. Just nice, gentle reminders throughout the week, as well as any new information, any new discounts, any info will go to the newsletter first. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this sweet little community, and thank you for showing up for yourself. Because listening to this podcast in and of itself today was you showing up for yourself. You could have listened to anything, and you listened to me. You listen to me and my sick self ramble off in my car. But we're talking about important stuff here, and I really appreciate you giving me your time and you giving yourself the time to listen to something that might help you better yourself and better your day-to-day. So I'm proud of you. And I think that this is going to be a good week because we're going to set ourselves up for success, and we're going to be there for ourselves, and we're going to work on being our own friend. So have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll catch you on the next episode of Building You. Bye.